Here?
Weedman.
Here.
Mack.
Here.
Meskel.
Here.
Okay. That's a quorum, believe it or not. Let's recite the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Any questions? Okay.
Meskel.
Aye.
Kraft.
Aye.
Mack. Weedman.
Motion carries. Do we have any public comment this evening? Okay. Then we'll move right into our meeting. Is there a presentation? None? Alrighty. Board reports, if anyone has anything they want to share. It's an exciting evening, isn't it?
29th, they had a session that the people who are doing our solar work arranged for, and I attended just about all of that. And in general, I was pretty well done. And especially the materials I picked up, there was a lot of material for references that you want to spend the time digging into. I used 2 pages, not to into it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think a lot of them we shouldn't have references now. We have the references now to the features of a basis to do some work with the panels. What I'm looking forward now is to the next report. I think the 20th we'll have a report on the actual functioning and the things that are actually put, what buttons are pushed where here to determine what juice went here and what juice went there, and how we figure out what we gained or lost on things.
And we can all now get on to that. I'm still having trouble, but Keith has got it, so we can actually look
On the web.
at on a website. And I'll put the message or out the connection for you all. But so I can look at Frederick on Tuesday, and then compare the weather, and you can see how many kilowatts, megawatts, whatever it is that are produced. It's really an awesome site.
The bottom line is it gave us a lot of materials for references. Of course, we can't use it all this year necessarily if I were a classroom teacher, but I'd have backing for whatever I wanted to do. It's well done.
Good to hear. Thank you. All righty. Superintendent report?
We've got a few things to talk about tonight. First, the U.S. Department of Education Green Ribbon Schools, and I had not heard this until recently, recognizes schools that reduce environmental impact and costs, improve the health and wellness of schools, students, and staff, and provide effective environmental and sustainable education. And in the state of Illinois, there have been 3 schools that have been nominated, and this is a national award. Bloomington Public Schools, Meadowview School, and Loyola University of Chicago. So Meadowview has been nominated. The person that we've been working with says we have a pretty good chance of getting named as a winner, but we'll have to wait and see. So that was pretty. It's based on their woodland project and some other things that they've been doing within the building. So that's pretty exciting information. So the weather has been interesting for us.
To say the least.
One thing that it does affect is our discussion about graduation date. So currently graduation was scheduled for May 31st. Our last day of school was June 3rd. Now it is June 7th. Marcus, Matt, and I met to talk about graduation this week. First thing we have to do is find out if we can still use the space at the high schools, because they're back a week too, just the way we are. The week of June 3rd begins athletic camps and summer school at the high schools, so that interferes if we continue to bring our 8th graders on the next week. The 8th grade trip to Washington is that next week. So, and there's a lot of parents and staff that have already set travel for that week, June 3rd. So Marcus and Matt would like to continue to keep May 31st as graduation day, if we can possibly do that. That would give the 8th graders more school off than everybody else, but the teachers, we know we can do some curriculum things with them and keep them going. But otherwise, on June 3rd, when they go to Washington, D.C., we're going to have a tough time with substitutes, and there are going to be a lot of kids gone. They've already paid. So unless you have a,
Is that a problem with days of instruction or anything?
no, we're all set with that. Anybody? Okay.
It's fine.
All right, now Paul's got a couple things for us too.
I do have a couple of things. So today was a big day at Meadowview as well. Today was the first day of NAEP assessment. And so Meadowview and GMS were selected to represent Illinois. So we had approximately 50 fourth graders, half taking reading and approximately half taking math. Assessments today. They bring in all of the devices, they bring in the staff. We had to just find a room and a schedule to work. So our fourth graders did a very, very good job of listening and trying their best. The test takes about 120 minutes, so it was a long time for a fourth grader to be present for testing, to participate. Some finished significantly earlier than that, some did not. So that was something that we really didn't have any option of taking or not. We were selected and did not have really a means to not do it. It's one of our responsibilities. I see my friend Marcus just walked in because on February 28th, GMS will be taking the NAEP assessment for 8th grade. A little bit more complicated with 8th grade students because they randomly select the students. And so then it does mess up the entire schedule for that day for the students. The 4th grade, they just kind of made it work because they're self-contained and they can just make the schedule work. But for 8th grade, we have to pull kids out of schedules and move things around. But GMS will have about 50 students too, who will be participating, again, about half in math, half in reading. Again, they'll come, the group will come that they came today, they'll be back here. So we're doing our duty here to support Illinois and the federal government about the NAEP assessment. So I'm sure it will be successful. The other thing I wanted to share is that on January 22nd, I had the opportunity to participate in the Community Risk Reduction Workshop. It was held at the Grays Lake Fire Protection District. So they were asking for community participants. So I was one of the few school participants who was there. And so the whole idea about community risk reduction from the fire department is to figure out ways how we can educate our community to reduce the amount of calls for life-threatening issues. So if we can encourage community to know more, then we'll have less. So they provided a lot of data about how many calls and for what reasons. One of the things that was shared, and I personally didn't know, was that all of us are meant to have smoke detectors in our home. I didn't know that they do have an expiration. The actual device has an expiration of 10 years. And so really those are things that we need to help other families. You nodding, so I'm sharing the information hopefully correctly.
So far, so good.
Hopefully we can even get that message out. But they're looking for ways to find, interestingly, some of the issues that the fire department is wanting to look at is technology and cell phone issues, because they said the number of calls for issues related to cell phones are increasing.
So like what?
So people who are looking for traffic issues or for, I don't even know, but they said it was lots of cell phone related issues were a growing issue. So it was interesting. Likely we'll have a follow-up, but it was their way to get community's interest or input so they could come up with a plan moving forward. So I was glad that I was able to participate that day.
You know, it's interesting on that, where they used to say that there was a fire and there were no smoke detectors. Now, in the last 5 years or so, they always phrase that there were no working smoke detectors there. It's pretty easy if you don't write the date on the bottom of the thing when you change it. Has it been 3 years since I've changed batteries in this thing? Good grief, time flies.
The devices now actually come with an expiration date stamped on the bottom of them.
Oh.
They tell you when they were manufactured and everything. It's changed a lot.
I always thought you just had to worry about the batteries.
Nope.
So that's a message they're going to try to be promoting a little bit differently as well. They also talked about railroad crossing and ungated crossings in the larger area. Also the aging housing stock. And they talked about the dangers in many of our older homes, about the not upgraded electrical systems and the not upgraded living conditions. They said are continuing to be issues as well. So it was interesting. One of the things that I brought up that was a connection from our school is the number of families who speak a second language. And they were surprised at the number of languages represented in our school district, and that made them think about things a little bit differently, about the changing demographics just for our school students, which they all serve. So that was a topic that we discussed.
Good. Thanks for going. For us.
All righty, thank you. Committee reports?
The next meeting for the Evaluation Assessment Curriculum Committee will be March 14th. We had to cancel, with all these weather days, we've had to reschedule on schedule. So we had to cancel February 21st. So the next one's March 14th, and the next diversity meeting is next week. Wednesday night, right?
We need to set a new policy committee date at some point.
Yes. Yes.
Also canceled because of weather.
Yes. I'll do that. Thank you for reminding me.
All right, could I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, including the addendum to the personnel report?
So move.
Second.
Are there any questions? Okay.
Strack,
Aye.
Meskel,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Weedman.
Aye.
Motion carries. And we have only one action item. If I get a motion to approve the registration and technology fees for the 2019-2020 school year?
So moved. I'll second, but
Any questions or anything you wanna, okay?
the only thing, I try and rephrase this the way I'm looking at it, is if we can maybe break out the fees a little better, because if we're gonna, I think the premise we thought of when we put the Chromebooks in service was that the technology fee would be to cover
The warranty.
the warranty. And maybe if it's semantics, and I know it's just semantics, if we lower the base fee that we already have and then put the technology fee for the warranty there, then it's clearly delineated what we're charging for.
Which I think is kind of how you had it in your presentation at the last meeting.
Yes, so,
They're broken out like that.
That way, if the warranty goes up, then we can kind of adjust that as we go along and just adjust that and not say we're tacking on. That's the way it's just a different way of looking at it. The dollar amount I'm okay with. The dollar amount is
The total
dollar amount is the same. I just thought if we broke it out,
Okay.
technology for the warranty on the devices, and then we can lower the other base fee that we already have, and it still end up being the same. If it doesn't, I mean,
So you,
so,
go ahead.
just trying to understand, you're saying,
so right now you have $145 for, well, let's go back. It's 145 for first through eighth, or first through fourth, and then it
Correct.
goes up from there. We were tacking on a $50 device fee, and we have a $54 technology warranty fee. So I would say put the device fee at 54 and then just lower the base fee to 140. It's the same dollar amount, it's just a matter of delineating it out. That's the way I'm looking at it. It's too complicated, I'm not.
No, I see what you're saying. I mean,
So we wouldn't, so the dollar amount would be no different than it was last year?
the total dollar amount would be the same as proposed. Would it be broken up by registration and then tech warranty fee? So if the total's 195, the registration fee would be 141, and the warranty fee would be 54, which would still be 195.
Just so it's clearly stated that we're using that.
Amount of money for the warranty.
Amount of money for
Okay.
the warranty.
Okay.
I know it's kind of just semantics, and they're getting charged the same amount, but that way, if in 2 or 3 years the warranty goes up, then we're only really adjusting what the warranty coverage is and not the registration fee. That's just a different way of looking at it on my end, but I thought it would be easier to explain to the parents.
Yeah, no, we get it. We can make that.
I mean, yeah.
That was my only comment on that. But
And
if,
we haven't prepared the letters or anything, so we can send.
and the dollar amount stays the same, I'm just looking at the being able to divide it out and saying this is truly the technology fee for this.
I mean, you can still leave the technology fee at 50. You know, I mean, because it's, either way, that's going to be. But, so so what we're approving is the total amount.
But you just want it separated as a separate fee?
Well, yeah, as presented to parents at registration, break it out so that they can see the line item for the tech fee and the line item for the registration.
Absolutely.
And we're in agreement there's not going to be any other cost for technology, so.
As I understand it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah, no, we're not.
I wasn't looking at adding any more for, because the EBF funds paid for the devices, so
Right.
why would we charge the
Yeah.
community for one state has already paid for?
That's,
That's my thought.
Any other questions, comments? Okay.
Weedman,
Aye.
Meskel,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Strack.
Aye. Motion carries.
Mr. President, I'm just curious that the other 3 board members that are here have kids in school, and I'm just curious, what do you hear from the kids about how this whole process has been working?
My daughter loves it. I think you,
My son
yeah.
gets a big kick out of it now.
Yeah.
And my younger daughter wants to know why she doesn't get one
I
yet.
know you said you took it away from your child the first time.
We've had some home issues with it.
Home issues, so-
We've had some
We have
home
to.
issues, and that's our disciplinary problem that our end. I think my son gets a little distracted by it at times in the classroom, from what I've gotten from his teachers.
Yeah.
But the teachers have been great at communicating that with us, so we can have that conversation with him. So that's been fine, but it's just, it's an adjustment period for, 3/4 of the school district, and almost every teacher who's dealing with them. It's all an adjustment period, and I guess that's probably part of the reason why I kind of pushed to try and get some of this in earlier than later, and so that maybe next year all the bugs are worked out.
You hearing any of them being left in the lunchroom or left on a bus or nothing?
I had to bring it to school today. Does that count? Because he left it at home on the counter. So it's like anything else,
There you go.
wrestling bags, soccer shoes,
Something else to
I
look
think
on.
there's a brain in between here.
there's, the first repair group were 17 out of 2,520, there were 17 that needed repair. So that was the first time
Like drops or what?
well, we had one
Variety of
screen
things.
already
Okay.
broken. The rest of them were a lot of them was the stylist and a couple key things. But those were easy fixes.
Alrighty. Update on solar.
Well, as you know, with weather, they have stopped working there. They're well over 80% done on the middle school. Like I said, the weather has stopped them. We're roughly about 2 to 2.5 weeks away from having all the panels and the electric done. So the electrician was back yesterday for
hole when they're thinking they're gonna try starting again, looking at the weather forward. We did get the computers, what is it, Solar Edge is up and we can see it now. Next board meeting, Kurt will be in, and we'll probably have it up on the screen so you guys can view it and see what it's about. The educational side, I think they're all very excited about it. Other than that, we're waiting for ComEd for the transformer, and if we don't get it before, what was the date? I did forget the date. They were 3 or 4 months out, wasn't it, with ComEd?
So originally, ComEd had told us that in November, when this first came up, they said it was going to be February, and now we are hearing from ComEd that they'll be out sometime in June.
Right.
So Performance Services, obviously, and the district is not very happy with that answer, since it was dramatically different than what they told us in November, and we're still working through every channel we can possibly find to see why February can turn into June. But right now, worst case scenario, something outside of our control, unfortunately, but ComEd is saying they want
On
to
the
have it
plus
done.
side, though,
Right.
since this is such a big system, we can run half the system
Right.
on the transformer that we have till ComEd, so at least we can
Okay.
start recouping.
So the middle school, yeah.
Worst case happens.
Yeah, the middle school won't be completely off until the transformer comes. We can turn on a large portion of the system. We just can't turn on the whole thing.
The transformer was only in the event they get a surge, right?
What was that?
The transformer was only because ComEd said that it
Yes.
wasn't big
Yeah,
enough
if we got a surge.
if it got a surge.
Yes.
But of
I was
course,
like,
we
sure.
won't. That's gonna be it.
With our luck, yeah.
Yeah.
But the good news is, with all the leaks that GMS had,
Most of them were from Sunday.
yes, so the concern about all the drill holes,
Not a single one of them.
Well, we got one that we're keeping an eye on.
but
But
still,
again,
Still a
it's
lot of
snow.
them.
Out of
It's not-
6,600.
yeah.
Yeah. Out of what, 9,000 holes they drilled up on this road. I was impressed with that.
I was scared, but.
Yeah. But yeah, they've done a great job. Hopefully the weather will hold and they can get back going again.
And now we think we have another roof coming up that's due, right?
Yes,
We'll talk
Meadowview,
about that.
next week, or next board meeting. Mhm.
Okay.
We have some ideas for you.
Works for me.
Your meeting tomorrow morning?
Performance services, yes, 10 o'clock, correct?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. New business. We do not have any new business, so topics for future agenda items.
We have, Kurt Hintz will be here for the performance services, do the solar presentation. We'll bring you the proposed calendar. We met this week with the union to look at the calendar for next year. And that's all I have right now. What does anybody else have?
Student lunch balances, we've
Oh,
come
yes.
across a rather unique
I-
situation for
yeah.
student lunch balances that seem to be growing. That's a discussion topic.
Last name Weedman?
When will we get preliminary enrollment?
Uh, Preliminary enrollment,
Yeah.
student enrollment.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking, when do we start talking
The
about?
staffing, we are having our meetings tomorrow, so I'll be able to, I can update on that.
Yeah, okay.
That's it. Are there any public comments? Okay. In that case, if I could have a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to the sections of the Open Meetings Act listed in the agenda.
So move.
Second?
Meskel,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Weedman.